Good evening. Happy Friday. Have we had a good day? Oh, hope you have had a good day. Weather's been nice here compared to yesterday. We didn't have the sun at all, but we've had water and sunshine today. And it's felt quite warm actually. I think the weekend is looking promising, but the following weekend, which is a bank holiday weekend, not looking so promising. In fact, they're talking about it being even wet. So, yeah. Anyway, if you're catching me live, you'll have a live in the top corner. Come and say hi. If that live is not in the top corner, then you are catching this on the replay. Oop, too much came out then. Keep squeezing this too much. Not there, then you'll catch it on the replay. So make sure you put hashtag replay and make sure you hit the button. So the heart button, so I know that you checked into this video, guys. So the girls are still on the Zoom. I've sort of like come away from the Zoom, but it's for about 10 minutes to do my skincare, because I've got into a habit now of wanting to do it around about 8:30, 8:45ish. But there's a dilemma today. You're not going to see me take these live because I'm not going to lie, I had a little drinky poo tonight, and I've had rum and coke. So the caffeine in the coke means I can't have my gummies for at least another hour to an hour and a half before I can take them, because I want to be caffeine free before I take. But if you want to know more about the gummies, guys, just put gummies in the comments and I can get you over the info on the gummies. But the gummies do recommend that you take them being caffeine free, because of caffeine acts as a blocker from the biotin that's in the gummies, and the biotin is the #1 sought after vitamin in the beauty industry that is going to help your skin, your hair and your nails. Biotin has got so many benefits, guys, so you want to be caffeine free before you take them, to make sure that you are caffeine free. And I know coffee, tea, can of Coke has too much caffeine in for me to be able to. Hi Jodie, how are you? I'm just explaining I can't take my gummies live tonight because I've had a rum and coke, so I've got to wait at least another hour and a half before I am caffeine free, before I can take it safe. Thank you. Cool. You know, lots of entries into my jar, Jodie. Good, love it. How's your day been? I just seen Ethan's haircut. Is he pleased with it? He's growing up so fast, your Ethan. Do you know my Ethan is 18 on Monday? My baby is 18 on Monday. Doesn't seem possible. I'm good, yourself? Yeah, I'm good. A little bit teary because my son's going to be 18 on Monday. I feel old. I was 42. I think it's 42, going on to 43 when I had him, and it's going to be 18 on Monday. Don't know where the time's gone. But yeah, I love your Ethan's haircut. They can get away with those sort of haircuts at school, because I know down here they're sort of a bit more stricter down here for haircuts like that. You know, where you have the pattern in the hair. But he is growing up fast, your Ethan, as well. Right. Oh no, dropped it. My 26% vitamin C bead, which you saw how lightweight it was. And we're going to put a droplet full of the activated serum. And you can see how that just melts away. I'm just going to mix that together, swish it all over my hand, and then pat. Pat, 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 pat. So I'll have to put my glasses on in a minute to read your message, Jodie. Just let me get this on and I'll put my glasses on because I can't see. I wouldn't be able to open up the messages on when you're live so you can see the comments. Because if you like me, you need glasses to read. It's not going to happen. But you can see how quick and easy, guys, that is to absorb in. And it's not sticky, it's not tacky, it's just absorbing, gone. But just be careful you don't drop that over knock that over, because that is the activated serum. So that's my day 5, I think. I've got 2 more beads of vitamin C treatment to go. Right, let's put across and see what he said. Yes, he wanted it short, and I wasn't keen at first, but wow, that's gone quick. Aoife can get away with pattern. Keenan can't. Oh, Keenan can't. No, he's in secondary school now, isn't he? Kieran is in secondary school now, isn't he, Jodie? So yeah, they are a little bit more stricter in secondary school than primary school. Yeah, as I say, my Ethan, because he's 18 on Monday, and then his course ends on the 21st, I think he said. So then he's finished his T-level carpentry course in college, but he's going to go on to do apprenticeship with the place that he did his work placement with. So yeah, so things are looking good for him. But yeah, 18, I can't believe he's going to be 18. I just don't know where the time's gone. Right, that's soaked in. Put my Uplift Beauty oil on. Yeah, time goes so fast with kids. Time goes fast for us, but when you have kids, time just goes even faster. As I say, my baby of the family is going to be 18 on Monday. And I had him at home as well. I had him here in this very room. I gave birth to my Ethan on the 19th of May, 18 years ago, on Monday. At 5 to 4, I believe the time was, he popped into the world. With the sound of the squawking seagulls. The seagulls were making a racket that morning as well. That's quite funny. Right, that's my beauty oil on. So what I've done is I've carried on. Normally I don't do all my serums when I do the vitamin C 7-day treatment, but I thought, you know what, I'm going to do it anyway and see. And you know what, my skin is feeling so much more softer, believe it or not. And my phone is going on a slant. Hold on, guys. Stay. Yeah, so I've carried on with all the serums throughout the 7-day treatment I'm doing, and when I finish, my skin just feels so soft. I'm actually loving it. So if you've not tried our 7-day vitamin C treatment, let us know. Bet it brings back so many memories. It does indeed. It does. Because I remember my second son, who is now 25, going on to 26 this year. He was only 7 at the time, and he came in not long after I gave birth to Ethan, and his first words were, "It looks like a crime scene, like somebody had been murdered." Was what he came out with, and I thought, oh my god, really? So yeah, and he said he was going to go and tell all his friends at school, because Ethan was born on the Saturday. He was going to go and tell all his friends about his brother coming into the world and how it looked like a murder scene in the bedroom on Monday when he was going back to school. I don't think he did though. I think he was too embarrassed or too shy to mention it. But yeah, lots of memories. But yeah, Ethan was my only one I had at home. The other 4 I had in hospital. Other 5 I had in hospital. As you know, Samuel didn't make it because he was halfway through the pregnancy when he was born. But yeah, my baby was born here at home, and it just don't seem possible. It's 18 years on Monday. It just doesn't seem possible. Oh bless. Thanks Jodie. So yeah. So yeah, so Monday's going to be, you know, a mixed emotion, because I'm sort of happy for my son being 18 and lovely young man he's grown into. But at the same time, a bit sad as well, because, you know, 18 years of my baby, they'll still be my baby. I will still refer to him as my baby, whether he likes it or not. I had both at hospital. Yeah. Yeah, as I said, I had all my other children at hospital, but I was just adamant with Ethan that I wanted a home birth, which didn't look like it was going to happen, because on the Friday morning my waters went, and I phoned the midwife and said to her, I think my waters have gone. Anyway, she came round and checked me over, and yes, my waters had gone. So it was a case of, she said, you're booked in to have a home birth, but because your waters have gone but you're not actually in active labour, we can only leave you till tomorrow morning, which would have been Saturday morning, to take you into hospital to induce you if you don't go into labour. And I was adamant I wasn't going into hospital to have him. I was going to stay at home and have a home birth. So I cleaned the kitchen, scrubbed the oven, walked around, because obviously Dalton and Jared were both in primary school still. So I walked round to take them to school. I went back in the afternoon, walked round there, picked them up from school, walked home again. I basically stayed on my feet all day long, moving around, doing everything, getting things tidied up. I was adamant that I was going to get into labour, and I think it was about 4:30 I started getting some labour pains. So I phoned I left it to see how it would develop, and I think about an hour later the midwife phoned me and said, how are you doing, any labour pains? And I said, yes, I've got labour pains, they started about an hour or so ago. So she said, right, okay, we'll come round and check you out. So she turned up, I think about 6ish, and she stayed with me the whole time. And then around, I think it was about 9 or 10 o'clock, roughly, I can't remember exactly the time, but roughly about that time, she came and she called her partner to come round as well. So I had two midwives sitting in my living room on the sofa. I was making them tea, I was getting them something to eat. We were watching some stupid movie, I think it was Lost in Space or something was on the TV, and I was just wandering around. They said, sit down. I went, no, I'm going to carry on. I said, because I don't want this to stop, I'm going to carry on. So I was wandering around the house, as I say, fetching teas and coffees for everybody. What did you say? My waters went the same time with both boys. Kieran was the longest, Ethan was the quickest. Oh, that wasn't so nice for her. So they're both sitting on my sofa. Anyway, as my labour was progressing, I started getting that urge, and they said to me, are you feeling a lot of pressure down there? And I said, yeah, I think, it's going to be, it's not going to be long now. And then all of a sudden I went, oh, and they went, right, okay, let's go up and get the bedroom ready. So I bought a big, massive plastic sheet to put over the bed and on the floor to protect the carpet and the bedding. One of the midwives put the plastic on the bed, but didn't put it on the floor next to the bed, so it went over the bed and then down onto the floor to protect round the edge of the bed. She didn't do that. Anyway, they managed to get me upstairs. I got upstairs, I walked around the bed, sort of like got my arms on the bed, sort of bent over, and that's where I stayed because then Ethan was born. So of course, because they didn't have the plastic on the floor, it hit the edge of the bed and straight down onto the carpet. So that's why Dalton thought that it had been a murder scene, because there was all this blood all over the floor. Because if giving birth is a messy job for sure. So yeah, but they didn't even get me on the bed. So it was quite quick. Ethan was the longest in labour, but giving birth the quickest, if that makes sense. My firstborn, Melanie, she was sort of like the longest in labour. No, tell a lie, shortest in labour, but actual stage of actually giving birth to her was nearly over, and I think it was over an hour. In the end, they had to cut me because her head just wouldn't come through. But then Hannah, Jared, Dalton, they basically shot out within 3.5 hours. So yeah. And then of course when I lost Samuel, that was over an 8-hour labour, which wasn't very pleasant because the outcome, we knew what the outcome was going to be. And then of course I'd say Ethan was, you know, reasonably quick. So yeah, so all my pregnancies and all my births have been different, because Hannah, my second born child, she'd actually passed motion when she was inside me. So they honestly wanted to get her out as soon as possible in case she, you know, she swallowed any of it. And Jared, my firstborn son, he did exactly the same, but pooed before he was born. Dalton, as soon as he came out, he let his go, and done it all over the bed. But Ethan, he was a funny bugger, because it was over, I think it was over 7 days before he done a proper poo. And the midwife said, you know, because I was breastfeeding him, she said, drink pineapple juice, anything to help, you know, put in your milk to sort of like help soften him up so that he'll let go. And I've actually got a picture, which I could blow up, and, you know, I could even put it on Facebook if I wanted to and embarrass him, but I won't do that. But I've got a picture of him, I think he was about 10 days old, with a massive explosion in his newborn nappy. It got all up the bag, and it was all, oh, it was absolutely, it looked like a bomb had gone off in his nappy when he finally went, because he kept pulling his legs up, because obviously he wanted to poo but he couldn't poo. But then after that, he just went on a regular basis. It wasn't too bad, but yeah, they're all sort of different. I was 3:30 a.m. till 21:17 with Kieran, and 3:30 till 2:10 with Ethan. That's not bad going. So, especially with your firstborn, because they normally say your firstborn is the one that takes the longest. So Melanie, I think in total I was 6.5. No, tell a lie. I was 7 hours. I think 7 hours with Melanie. I was 3.5 hours with Hannah. I was, I think, 3.5, 4 hours with Jared. Again, 3.5 to 4 hours with Dalton. Ethan from 5 o'clock in the evening to 4 a.m. in the morning. So that was a little bit longer, but obviously giving birth to him, he just sort of popped out when I finally got the urge to push. I think it was a couple of pushes and he was out. It was that quick. So yeah, but yeah, they're all different, aren't they? So yeah, but yeah, I can't believe that my last baby is 18 on Monday. So and as I said, I wasn't a young mum then, because I think I was close to 43 when I had him. In fact, I was 43 that year, I think, because he was born in the May and I was 43 in the September. So, wasting my cream, waste not, whatnot, dropping it everywhere. So yeah. But, you know, would I go back and change anything? Definitely not. My babies are my babies. Each birth, each pregnancy was special. So, yeah. So I carried Melanie through the winter. I carried Hannah through the winter and gave birth to her in the August, because I was actually pregnant at the tail end of the summer with Mel's and had her in March. Carried Hannah through the winter into the summer months, because I gave birth to her on practically the hottest day, almost the hottest day of the year. Jared, I carried through the summer and gave birth to him in the beginning of October. Dalton again through the summer, gave birth to him in the beginning of November. And Ethan I carried through the winter and spring, and gave birth to him on the 19th of May. So yeah, so my babies. And of course Samuel, he was born in January when he should have been born in June. So yeah. So yeah, so that's my skincare done, guys. Story basically of my children being born. But yeah, Ethan was born at home, 18 years on Monday, 5 to 4 Monday morning. That's when he popped into the world. And did we know it? But I tell you, giving birth at home was a beautiful experience, because unlike when I was in hospital, the moment you gave birth, they go and run you a bath. You know, they expect you to go and have a bath, clean yourself up. But if you've given birth naturally, you know that, you know, as soon as you got out that bath, dried yourself off, you're back to where you started, because, you know, you've just given birth. So you've got the most heaviest bleed going on. So yeah, so you don't actually feel clean. But I must admit, having a home birth, there was none of that rushing. You know, everything was on my terms. In fact, the midwife had been here since 5 o'clock in the evening, and obviously I gave birth to Ethan at 5 to 4 in the morning. By 9 o'clock, she was still here, and I said to her, "Go home, I'm fine." And she went, "No, I'll wait until you've had a bath." I said, "I can't have a bath. I don't have a bath now." I said, "I've got a shower." I said, "But no," I said, "Ethan's happy laying on my chest. I'm happy just to lay here and chill out for however long I want to." I said, "And I'll be fine." So she kept saying, "You sure?" And I went, "Yeah." So I actually sent her home because she just didn't, bless her, she just didn't want to leave me. And then yeah, I just laid there for quite a while with Ethan on me, and yeah, just sort of savoured that precious moment, which was nice. And then I got up, had a shower, fed him. Moses' basket was downstairs ready for him. We just sat downstairs and got on with our normal Saturday routine, really. So yeah, it was lovely. I love it. Anyway, I'm going to love you and leave you. If you want to know about any of the skincare you've seen me use tonight, I know my camera's moving slow. I'm not pissed, it's just my camera keeps, I'm going to leave it because it's just moving anyway. But I'm ending the live anyway, so yeah. I'm going to be taking my gun, as I said, in about an hour and a half. So what I'll do is I'll take these, but I'll put it on my story so you can see that I've taken them. Which I know you know I take them, because I swear by them for my hair and my skin and my nails. If you want to know more about the gummies, let us know. If you want to know more about the collagen, I do have trial packs I can send out to you guys. If you want to know more about the 7-day treatment, again, let us know. Don't forget, guys, you have got our new website where even one product, as long as it's not a product that is actually available on subscription, if it's a non-subscription product, you'll get 10% off and free shipping on the new website. To find the new website, you can just put link, write the word link in the comments if you want, or go onto my Linktree, and it's the first bar up saying my website, and that will take you to the new website. And I believe the free gift till Monday is our lip stain called Delighted, I believe. So before my phone totally goes kabomp, I'm glad I only had one rum and coke, because I think that, you know, there's something going on with me going squee with. But anyway, thank you for popping on. Don't forget, guys, if I've given you any value, resonated with you, or even just entertained you, make sure you hit that special button and sprinkle this to your profile, and come back and write the word S-H-A-R-E in the comments, so that you can be added into my appreciation jar like Jodie, because Jodie's done that and she's written the word in the comments. So if you want to be in my appreciation jar so you can get a little something from me in the drawer, then make sure you sprinkle and come back and write the word. And you have got 16 lives that you can sprinkle and write S-H-A-R-E on each one of them. I'll get notified, and that'll be 16 entries into my jar, and then you've got 16 entries into the drawer to get picked out. The more entries you have, the more chance you get of being picked out. So I'm going to love you and leave you. Enjoy your Saturday, and I'll see you Saturday night. Take care, guys. Bye.